As Rose and her mother stood there, embracing, Rose's long red petals began to wrap around them, spiraling gently, beginning to cradle both her and her mother, as they seemed to hug for all it was worth, simply feeling love within the moment, smiling. After a few moments, Mary finally began to separate from Rose, and as they began to separate, Rose's petals once again furled away, extending back out into their wide reach. In comparison to her mother's petals, they were immense, and yet vastly different in other ways. Rose's petals seemed almost frail. Mary reached out, gently grasping hold of one of Rose's petals as it swayed gently in the breeze, like silk ribbons. It was warm and soft to the touch, and its appearance of frailty went beyond simply being thin. Her petals seemed so thin that you could actually see through them, being almost fluorescent, but still carrying a red tint and glow. Rose could clearly see her mother grasping her petals, and as Rose and Mary looked, it was as if looking through a tinted window. They could see Mary's fingers on the other side of the petal, clearly, almost as if there was nothing in between it at all. "I've never seen such petals," Mary said. "They're beautiful, and I never expected them to be so long and thin. They're so much different than mine," Mary said, as she softly caressed the petal in her hand, feeling its warmth and the sensation of its touch. Rose chuckled a bit, giggling to herself. "You're right, it does tickle," Rose said, as she watched her mother gently touching her petal. It was at that point that Rose turned around, looking up at the massive stalk with a gigantic rose upon the top of it, from which she herself had emerged. "Wow, Mom, I mean, you told me the bloom was going to be special, but I didn't think it was going to come to this. That's crazy," she said, looking up at the gigantic flower. "Rose, that is not normal." "What?" Rose replied. "What do you mean it's not normal? I mean, I bloomed just like you said I would." "Yes, Rose," her mother replied, "but your bloom is special, far more so than I ever could have anticipated, Rose. Rose, you are a royal bloom." "A royal bloom?" Rose replied, looking curiously at her mother. "Yes, Rose," Mary said as she closed in, slightly and gently holding Rose's face, placing her forehead against her daughter's. "A royal bloom is the most special of blooms. So special, in fact, that it has been countless thousands of years since one has occurred. It is rumored that the first person to have a royal bloom is actually the one who created our world, who filled it with the vast amounts of life that it overflows with, created all of the individual races that inhabit it, filled it with life. Of course, these are only legends, passed down by the Veiri, the elders, the tree folk. In essence, the royal bloom, unlike any other bloom, is when one is chosen by nature itself, by the elemental forces that dwell within a world, within the universe itself. They find one that they deem worthy and bestow upon them the right to rule, command over nature itself. It means that you're the queen, sweetheart, destined by birth to rule, given right by nature itself. You mean I'm the queen of nature? Rose said, seeming completely taken back. Her mother smiled, laughing a bit. Yes, Rose, you're the queen of nature. But what does that even mean? Rose replied. Like, what does being the queen of nature entail? Well, to be honest, Rose, I'm not sure. As I said, it has been many thousands of years since there was a royal bloom on our homeworld. Quite frankly, I don't know what to expect of it. Whether it is simply a title that others are meant to respect, or whether it will affect your abilities, I simply can't say. I don't possess the knowledge. The only ones that might possess it would be the Veiri of our homeworld, the carriers of knowledge through the generations. Okay, I'm gonna ask you a few questions if you don't mind, Jack said, stepping forward. Oh, and before I do, congratulations on the bloom, Rose. You look fantastic. Those petals are definitely something. But on to other things. Exactly what does Queen of Nature entail as far as your homeworld is concerned? I mean, what does it mean? Is it specific to here, or is it all nature everywhere? In other words, is your daughter the Queen of Nature on Earth? Or would that crown of hers also apply to your homeworld? If she went back, would they respect it? Would they have to acknowledge her as a royal bloom or whatever? I don't know, Mary replied, frustrated. As I said, I don't possess the knowledge. I don't know how it works. For all I know, her right and authority may not extend beyond the earth. It might be tied to whatever planet she blooms on, meaning that her right to rule over nature only exists here. But then again, elemental energy, including the energy of nature, exists throughout the universe. It is a universal constant necessary for life itself. And as this flow of energy encompasses all things, it's also possible that her authority could extend beyond the earth, to our homeworld, or even others. I don't know. These are all things that I have no answers for. Quite frankly, what I'm more concerned with is the effect that it will have on Rose. You saw what I saw. Who knows how much power Rose has? It was at that point that they heard a loud beeping noise, like an alarm, that was quite grating to the ears. Oh, yeah, wouldn't you know it, Jack said, reaching into his pocket and pulling out a cell phone. He looked at it for a moment before the cell phone started to change, as if it was breaking down into its individual pieces, beginning to wrap around his hand. And suddenly there was a flash of light, just like before when he was showing his memories, except now there was a different image, one that Rose and Mayrie recognized. It was the young blonde woman, Titan, apparently their daughter. Hey, what is going on down there? Did you see that? Yeah, I saw it, Jax replied, smiling. Trust me, I saw it. Oh, you have no idea, Titan replied. The entire world is losing their shit. What? Jax replied. Oh, so apparently you didn't see it. Well, at least not all of it. News stations around the world are losing their minds. There's camera footage from everywhere. It's a worldwide phenomenon. News stations are broadcasting, reporters are going out, satellite images are beginning to try to track the source of the anomalous event, try to figure out what was causing it. I've been monitoring all government activities. Currently, they've been starting to look over satellite imagery. They haven't been able to tell much, but they have noted that there's actually a pattern to the alighting of natural plants on Earth. Apparently, all of the light that was being emanated by the trees, plants, grass, everything, it all flowed like a ripple. Right now, they're trying to pinpoint the central location because they've already been able to deduce that this ripple of light all seem to be funneling to a specific location. A location that I've already happened to track. And when I did, wouldn't you know it, it's basically where you are. So, explain it. What did you do? Don't hold out on me, Dad. Hey, why does it have to be me who did something? Because it's always you who did something. Anytime anything crazy happens, it's always you. Crazy is sort of your thing. Well, I'll have you know I had nothing to do with this, Little Miss Sassy Britches. Then what was it? Titan replied. Well, let's just say that Rose's bloom was a little bit more special than we originally predicted. What? You're telling me Rose did that? Yeah, that's absolutely what I'm telling you. And trust me, even from the ground floor where I was watching, it was a hell of a show. Oh my God, I knew I should have come. Okay, give me access. I want the memories. I need to start analytics now. All right, cool your britches. Access granted. Download memory intel. You can go ahead and start analytics, and get back to me when you have anything solid. Oh, and if you can, run interference. I'd like this place to stay private for at least a while. Do you have any idea what you're asking me to do? You're basically asking me to waylay the entire satellite network. Worldwide. Do you think that sort of thing is easy, Dad? No, I don't think it's easy, but I think it's doable. So stop griping at me and just do it. Fine. But I am so coming down there when this is over. Oh, and one more detail. AKA, before you have to read it through the memory banks, Rose is the queen of nature now. At minimum on Earth. At maximum throughout the universe. Just for the sake of information ahead of time. What? Titan shouted. That's crazy! Oh my God, I know the queen of nature. Where is she? I want to talk to her, Titan said, beginning to grow a smile on her face. Okay, here she is. As the image suddenly shifted in Rose's direction. Hey, Rose! Oh my God! You look fantastic! Did you get older? That is so cool. Oh, and those are your petals? That's amazing! They look nothing like your mom's. Okay, this Queen of Nature thing that my dad's talking about. It looks like it had some perks to it. I'm gonna be busy here for a little while, but when I'm done, I'm gonna be there, and we can catch up. In fact, once all is said and done, me, you, and a massive party. Celebrate your bloom. I'm telling you, me and you, we're gonna be besties. It'll be nice for me to have somebody to talk to that has a more impressive title than King of Atlantis. It's kind of hard to find people to hang out with that aren't intimidated by that title. So I think Queen of Nature should trump it. I'll see you later, Rose, she said as the image flickered out. The phone suddenly shifting back into the shape that it had before, and Jax tucking it away into his pocket. Well, a worldwide phenomenon, huh? Well, I suppose Mary's promise of an impressive display definitely panned out.